Passive network monitoring solutions like Nozomi, Clarity, Dragos, Cybervision, and a lot of others were created specifically for industrial control systems cybersecurity. The basic idea is that since it's risky to send any request or perform any type of scan on a live ICS systems, you would instead monitor the network traffic to identify the devices, some of their characteristics, but also to perform a baseline of the network communications and be able to alert in case of any deviation. This is possible because these solutions can dissect the specific network packets for ICS specific protocols. Think Modbus, S7, be it open or proprietary protocols. And so they can identify situations like this PLC has a new program that was downloaded from this machine at this specific time, which is very valuable information for incident response. This, of course, is a valid strategy, but it's not as easy as it may seem. First, you need to have a good understanding of your network architecture in order to deploy those solutions, because you need to define where to capture the traffic. So this sometimes leads to a situation where you would manually perform an inventory in order to deploy a solution that would help you do the inventory. So kind of a chicken and egg situation. Secondly, another difficulty is that you still need to modify the configuration of some of the networking equipment. For example, to enable port mirroring, or if the device does not support it, you need to install a tap device that will copy the traffic to a second port passively, and that means unplugging some of the device for a short period of time. So it's not fully transparent. There could be an impact when you install this type of solution. Lastly, it's of course only as good as the usage you make from it. You need qualified people, trained people to use the solution, to tweak it, and to react on alerts. Having thousands of unacknowledged alerts in the console will, of course, this will not help you. This is why I've never been a big fan of these solutions, and why it has always bothered me when companies deploy that type of solution as the first step towards ICS cybersecurity. While I believe that passive network monitoring technology can sure improve your cybersecurity posture on ICS environments, I strongly believe that it shouldn't be the first step or the only step. But what really motivated me to create this video is that the following fact. In the last 12 months, I've encountered 3 different situations in which companies deployed or were thinking about deploying that type of technology in an environment in which, according to me at least, it would not provide a very good return on investment. The first situation was the following. They wanted to install that type of solution in a CCTV and access control environment. So in this specific environment, you will not find a lot of ICS specific protocols, and the devices do not share most of the characteristics of the PLC, I would say. The second situation was a plan to deploy a monitoring technology in a DMZ, in which it will only be able to collect encrypted network flows. So that means that the solution wouldn't be able to analyze any of the data because it would simply be encrypted. And last situation was in a manufacturing environment for which most of the ICS was not like a production line, but it was mostly standalone industrial machines provided by third parties. So these machines from the asset owner eyes were, I would say, a black box, and they included a few Windows machines, maybe a few PLCs, as well as industrial gear. So that means from the asset owner perspective on the network, on the ICS network, there would be like one Windows 10 machine on the network, but inside of the machine there would be maybe 1 to 5 devices with their own specific network. In all of these cases, the main advantages of passive network monitoring solutions were not so beneficial. If you do not have like legacy ICS specific protocols, well, for me, I do not really see the value of using a solution that can really analyze in depth all the packets if everything that goes through the probe is like Windows SMB or HTTP request. That's the first thing. Secondly, if most of the machines connected to the network are standard machines, think Windows 10 machines, even if they are unpatched and even if you have a Windows 7s or Windows XPs, it doesn't make so much sense to use a passive network monitoring solution. You can use a standard IT solution to perform asset inventory, asset discovery, because Windows 10 will not crash if you send like one request. So I believe that since passive network monitoring is quite the only ICS specific solutions that we have for cybersecurity, all the rest, firewalls, endpoint protections comes from IT, we tend to want to deploy that everywhere as a first step to secure, because it will give you visibility, you have a dashboard, so you have something to show if you deploy that type of technology. However, in the 3 examples that I mentioned, the only real scenario that the people were able to describe to me was like, yes, but if there's a new device on the network, if an attacker plugs a device on the network, it will be detected. Yes, of course, but there are way simpler and cheaper solutions to do that. And in addition, I do not think that's like the #1 threat to your ICS. Okay, so this was today's Candlelight ramble. And now the only thing I have left to say is cheers.